Hi, folks. Just to wrap up the week, we have started with rhetorical devices and persuasive texts, and I've had a chance to look at most of your analysis on the bleak reality of the Instagram experience. So I thought I would finish off the week with a little bit of general feedback on the article so that you have an idea of what you're doing and how to build on this first little activity. So, to start off, the article obviously has a headline or a title, The Bleak Reality of the Instagram Experience, but it does subtitle the article with this rhetorical question. A rhetorical question plants the seed of an idea in the reader's mind, which is exactly what this question does. Pop up attractions like the happy place are built for selfies, but does anybody actually enjoy going to them? So we know that there's going to be a little bit of an incongruity here between the stated intent of this museum that is being looked at and discussed and what actually happens. So we get a sense of what Tatum Dooley's main idea or focus is going to be. Her thesis, obviously, is right at the end of this first little part here. And she basically states very explicitly, meaning it's right out there, we can point to it, it's right there for us to see. For all intents and purposes, though, it is a sprawling, intricate green screen. Its purpose is to provide guests with a myriad photo opportunities to later post on social media. So we know that the commentary here really has to do with social media, the effect of social media on audiences, and what's happening to our society in terms of contentment, satisfaction, and genuine happiness. Throughout the article, she is using various rhetorical and literary devices in order to appeal to her audience. I've marked many of the rhetorical devices that are being used by highlighting them in the document and making some notes in the margin. I'm going to be posting this to our Brightspace so that you can have a look at some of the feedback. But basically, what you want to be doing is looking at how the author is using rhetorical devices in order to make an appeal. Remember, the three different types of appeal that you are looking at are logos, pathos, and ethos. So you always want to be tying these rhetorical devices to a different type of appeal. So, for example, at the very beginning of this article, her lead, which is her first sentence, which hooks her audience, makes reference to the happy place, but talks about it as a dystopia, likening it to a dystopian children's cartoon or fiction. This right away should evoke a little bit of curiosity, fear in the audience, and is probably also appealing to our logical minds if we have, if we're familiar at all with dystopian fiction. Another thing that she does really well is hone in on negatively charged diction in order to get her point across. So, for example, she's saying things like people are milling about, they're staring directly into a camera, they're littering the scene of this museum. Negatively charged words throughout the article help to reiterate her overall thesis. And then finally, if you want to just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the article, her implicit message is hinted at when she makes reference to this 6-year-old child who's exiting the museum with a handful of confetti. Obviously, she, is making some kind of larger commentary about society and our ability to have genuine experiences and actually live in the moment and be mindful in the moment rather than constantly thinking about posting to social media. So this final sentence gets at that implicit message, but it's never actually stated. An implicit message is the message that's implied that we have to kind of dig deep and make inferences about based on what the author is doing. So I hope this feedback helps you out. I'm going to be making a few more notes in the margins here just so that you can use this as you go forward and analyze your I Have a Dream speech. Remember that speech is due on Monday, the analysis of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. And I'm also almost finished marking your bleak reality stuff. This was not for marks, it was for feedback. So hopefully you'll be using that as we go forward into next week's work. Hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Bye.